Hello and welcome to part 3. Okay, so I just wanted to let you know I am working at breakneck speed. You would not believe I got a total of 3 capacitors replaced in 24 hours. At this rate, your children should graduate from college and you should be retiring by the time I fire this television up. So, I was happy to find that this board fit in my PC board holder, although you'll have to excuse the miniature clothespins because this is a little bit, all these components are a little heavy for the friction springs to prevent it from sliding. And technically, again, this board is a little bit too big for this thing, but I can at least swivel it one way. So I managed to get that goop off, whatever it was over here. It kind of was acting like flux, but that was an awful lot of it on there. But it did scrape off and dissolve with alcohol, so it's gone now. But anyway, so what I've done so far is I replaced C14 and C15. I'm going through this schematic in the same, I'm going through the component replacements in the same order that the wires are. I went through and unwound the wires. So starting up here, this would be C14, C15. This is C16. But what I've started to do here was, if you take a look at this little cap here, this is a 100 microfarad at 100 volts, and this replaces the section, third section of E3. This is E1 on the Philco schematic, and it's C3 on the SAMs that I'm not using. Although I did happen to come across a couple of errors in the Philco service. Whatever, yeah. Anyhow, it's been a long day. It's also after 11, so bear with me. Anyway, so E1 here, one of the sections here, there is a white wire, which there's just no way you're going to be able to see, but there's a white wire that comes out the bottom here, travels around here, comes around under here, goes around this, the audio transformer here, past this, circles around the vertical output transformer, and then tags onto this connector here, which is L9. And so I went ahead, I just eliminated L9. I'm just going to eliminate that wire. This, I think I showed you in the last video, there was a blank spot here. On this side, there was a pad. There was a pad right adjacent to L9, but it didn't have a hole. So I went ahead and used my solder sucker to suck the solder off of there, and I used a 1/16 drill bit to drill down through the pad and out the front. And of course, if any of you are daring enough to do that kind of stuff, because I just don't care anymore, you'd want to drill from the bottom to the top, because otherwise you'll rip the pad and pull it off, and that just kind of will ruin your day. So I went ahead and drilled that out, and it just so happens that right next to it is a grounding pad for G. I don't know if you guys care about that, G8 here. So this is actually sharing the ground hole with C15. I could have drilled another hole, but I decided not to because the two fit fine. I'm hoping that's okay. My overprotective side is wondering if I should put a jumper wire from the the ground to G8. Am I spiking fat head in the way? No, you can't. No, you can't. Okay, fine. So anyway, that's where I ended up stopping last night at about the same time. Excuse me. So what I'm going to do now is that eliminates section 3. The next one I'm going to come across is L12, which is the audio. And L12, the audio B plus hooks up with a... there's an orange wire there. Does it... Oh, I forgot my other paper note. Give me a second. Okay. So, there's a green lead for L12, which is right here, and that one follows the same route as the white one. It goes to section 2 on that. As I threw my paper over here. That goes to section 2, which is the 20 microfarad at whatever the voltage is. It's right in front of me. It's 350, but I think I have a 450. So what I'm going to do, and I know I'm reinventing Bob's wheel here, but there's where C16A used to be here. Anyway, in run 1 or run 2, they added a capacitor here. 27 picofarad capacitor that was supposed to do something with the audio. And they removed it in run 3. So these have been left blank. This pad here goes to ground. Yeah, so the empty one here that's at W, right up next to the wire wound resistor WR1, this pad here is connected to ground. Same ground actually as this one. And then these two here are just connected together, so I could put the cap here, or I could put a cap across here, and Bob did this too. I can just run a wire from whichever one of these holes down into, and it goes into the grid of the. Oh, I got my pointer stuck. Goes into the grid of the audio output, or pin 9 anyway. Whatever pin 9 is on the EL84. It doesn't tell me, but anyway. So I should be able to just tuck it on in there. I have plenty of room in there, so I'll figure out where it goes. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do with section 2. And I've got all sorts of fun caps. As you can see, this is one of those little Nichicon pencil caps that fit in very nice places, narrow places. And then the last section of this cap here, which is an orange wire, goes to L27, which is right here. Now the L27 bridges over to down to another part of the board. I don't remember the number off the top of my head, but at any rate, that orange wire connects here, and that actually has a trace that comes down here, and there's another section here that is blank, and it is connected on the back side. I think it's connected on the back side. Yeah, it's right here, so it's connected directly to the L27, so it's almost like it was made for it. And then there is, I think, there's another blank pad here, actually that goes nowhere. I could drill that out, I guess, but it's very conveniently located next to another ground spike, which is G12. So that will eliminate this cap altogether. And then of course over here with this cap, since it's just connected to here and here, I'll put one of the 200s here. And then I know I haven't traced it out yet, one of the 200s over here just goes back to here somewhere, so I'll trace that out anyway. So I've been babbling along here for quite some time. I'll save off this segment and I'll get my happy butt back to work. But thanks for bearing with me, because I did need to go through this, and I was using the video as an excuse to make sure I traced this stuff out. So I'll be back in a moment. Hello, welcome back to the next day. I just wanted to point something out real quick. And I lost my pointer under something. I guess it was my pencil. So apparently these boards were green instead of this yellow color at some point, because every time I take one of these components off, it's kind of that 50s seafoam green. Another thing I was going to tell you was one of the things I got delayed with the other night was I was cutting the leads. I cut the lead to one of these caps, the .015, before I went to use the solder sucker. And what had happened was my 1.8 millimeter, the largest hole I've got, you know, stupid me, I stuck it over the lead, and I turned on the vacuum, and it sucked the lead right up into the pipe, and there it got stuck, and that was the end of that. I couldn't get the little drill it came with to get rid of it, and so on and so forth. So another thing was when I tested this. This is the .0668. One of the caps I was told that's usually bad is the .0015, I think. I'm checking the voltage because it's the 1.6, and it's I think it's the only 1,000 volt cap in here, but it does sit there by the vertical output. So anyway, I replaced it with a 1.6 kilovolt. But the funny thing was with this cap here, I tested it and it was really leaky, and my cap tester goes up to 900 and, well, it says 1,000 volts, but if you try to set it above 999, it just gives you an error. Anyway, so I set it to 900 volts, and I hit the leakage, and it was really leaky. So I decided to switch the leakage counter over to ohms, and I had the leakage button pressed, and I saw it, and it said it was 7 mega ohms, and then it was suddenly 5 mega ohms, and then 3 mega ohms, and 1 mega ohm. And my first thought, because I forgot I was on the leakage, I thought, oh, it's forming. Don't ask why I came to that conclusion. Anyway, as it started counting down, all of a sudden I realized it was smoking. So it got down to 7.7K before I realized that it was smoking. It did scorch the paper it was sitting on. And not that you can really see it, but it says paper. Oh, it's out of the frame. But anyway, so I just thought I'd share that with you. And anyway, back to it. Okay, so I figured I'd just finish up a video tonight, send it to you guys. So I've gone through, replaced some more. When I got down to the .0068 that was supposed to be replaced to a .0082 in run 3, it did have a 0082 on it, so in spite of me having a run 2 stamp on the back of my chassis, unless this board came out of another, I guess that wouldn't be true, because I would have noticed that the I'll stop trying to figure it out anyway. So I went ahead and I drilled a hole here. What did I do with my little hanger? Anyway, so I went ahead and drilled a hole here where that free pad was, and I've got these cleaned up here. I have a 10 microfarad at 500 volts, which is going to fit just fine. But when I went to go pull out the 22, I realized that it's going to be pretty big. It's going to get close to this resistor here, and this resistor apparently gets hot, since that was one of the ones that was prone to failure in the early runs. So if I'm going to put this up here, I don't know, maybe it won't be in the way, but I'm thinking I'm just going to use one of the pencils. They are long life. Both of these here, I think this might be an 8,000 hour, and this is a 10,000, or this is 10 and this is 12, or this is 20, I don't know. They live a long time. This one would definitely work out a little bit better. And I'm not really worried about height, because this board, I mean, even if this sat up that high, it's not as high as the cans here, and the tubes, some of the tubes are tall. Oh, excuse me. It's late. So, oh, it's after midnight actually. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in, and again, just to recap, because I know Scott's watching this and he was thinking about possibly doing that again. So the section 3, the 100 microfarad at 50 volts, I guess, but I'm doing 100 here, goes adjacent to L9. And there is a pad there that has to be drilled out, which is pretty evident on the board, although maybe his board has it drilled out, I don't know. And the 3 section, the 10 microfarad, that's 450 on the cap, is going to go here, just the pad just below C20. Zoom in there. Pad here just below C20, And then there's the blank spot here, which is adjacent to ground, that I did have to drill a hole in. I drilled that in right here. I sucked the, it had a solder bump on it, so I didn't think they had wave soldering back in the day, at this time, but I'm starting to wonder if they did, because there's empty pads here and they all have a blob of solder on them, and that hand soldering would not do that. I wouldn't think. Anyway, so I'll put the 10 here and the 22 here, and then I'll run a jumper wire from whichever of these two I don't put it, this in down to here, and I'm just guessing that I'm going to put it in down through where the pin goes, because there's room there. Matter of fact, there's light poking through. So it would go here to L12. L12. So, all right, let me do that, and I'll be right back so I can wrap that up. And you couldn't see what I was doing. It goes here to L12. Yeah, audio, which is marked audio B+. And it goes to pin 9. Or it goes to, is there a pad? Oh, no. Oh well, I was hoping there's a pad right under here. Anyhow, I'll be right back. Alright, well, when it came down to it, I ended up using the pencil cap. So, alright, so my entire E1 C3 has been relocated here to the main board, so I can pull that out. Oops, if I do this. So I've eliminated the cap that's on the far end, and I will take out those 3 wires. It's orange one, green one, and white one on mine, although on the description it does say, okay, so L9 E1-3, 2 white leads, and white and green lead to E1-2, and mine was just green, there was no white stripe on it. And then finally L27, which is E1-1, which is the 10 here. Sorry, I was seeing that it's 27, but it jumpers to 22, and anyway, never mind. So, alright, I think that's it for this video. I'll continue to do this. I guess what I'm doing is the capacitors first, and then going through the resistors. I know I'm going to have to make an order for some resistors, so the longer I put that off, the longer I have to deal with trying to figure out how I'm going to afford it. So, anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in video number 4.